Hey there, welcome to day 1385 of What Ship to Now. We talked about angels, we talked about devils, we talked about money burning a hole in our pocket, we talked about our comfort zone. Today, we talked about a lot of different topics. No Nonsense November, we talked about our comfort zone and the importance of stretching our comfort zone and how I started to stretch my comfort zone and get comfortable doing videos, which, you know, some people that watch my videos are like, oh my God, these are terrible. You must have just started doing these. But I've actually been doing them for about, well, a good full 4 years now, 2018, 19, 20, and 21. This would be my 4th year. We're coming up to the end of the year. I've done daily videos since then. I think I missed Christmas 2019, Christmas Day 2019, because I was down and out with COVID-19 before they even knew what it was. I clearly had COVID-19. I was sick for about a month, but that was the only day I couldn't muster up the energy or the voice, or actually I couldn't stop coughing long enough to even put a sentence together, much less videos together. So my timing has been off on them, depending on, again, my timing is my timing. I decide when I'm going to do my videos, and usually I like to do them first thing in the morning, but some days that doesn't happen. Some days I create them first thing in the morning, but I don't get to posting them until the evening. Just depends what's my schedule is, what's going on, what comes up in life. It's just like you, I have a life and things happen and come up that mess up my schedule or my original plan, right? And that's why we're flexible and we go with the flow of certain things that happen, and we remember to keep in mind what our priorities are at any given time so that we know when things come up, we're going to make the right choice based on our priorities, not what we're used to doing or what our habits are, right? I used to be a big stickler. Actually, I wasn't a big stickler for my habits. And then in 2010, I became very, much more a stickler for and regimented in my habits and my beliefs and my thoughts and what I chose to do and my priorities and doing things in alignment with what was really important and best for me versus the whole rest of the world. Because prior to that, the first 50 years of my life, I did what I thought I should do, what a good mom and a good wife and a good sister and a good daughter and a good whatever does, a good employee, a good business owner. I did all the things I thought I was supposed to do and should do, and ended up a stressed up blob that had a sudden cardiac arrest and died for a lot of reasons. But it was pretty much me ignoring certain areas and aspects of my life that were really, really important, like our health. We need to take care of our health. Really? We do? Yes, we do. Big lesson learned. So, in 2017, I had the opportunity to come online. After my divorce, we divested ourselves of all of our businesses together, and there were plenty. And I decided that I'd been curious about the online world, so I was going to check it out and figure out if I could duplicate my offline business success online. And I'm still working on that. That was a big, and still is a big nut to crack. It's a big goal, and I haven't gotten there yet. I haven't cracked my own code and gotten out of my own way enough to make that happen, or really to allow that to happen, right? It's not that I don't know how to do it. I just have been blocking myself in certain areas. Why? Because there's still lessons I need to learn. There's still things I need to learn before I'm ready to do that and create that and have that, let myself have that in my life, right? So today, our annual challenge this year is to do one thing every day that centers us, to get to know ourselves better and figure out what makes us tick and really start to listen to ourselves, understand ourselves, and honor what comes up and what is important for us, what our priorities are, what it is that we need to do to become the better version of ourselves, right? One of my personal goals and objectives is to always be becoming a better version of myself. I want to be a little better than I was yesterday every single day. Does that work out every day? No, of course not. Some days I have a bad day, just like every other human being. And I probably, if I'm being honest, didn't be better than I was the day before. But for the most part, my overall objective is to have more days where I'm better than I was the day before than that I'm not. So part of that is doing this annual challenge to get to know myself better and then sharing it with other people on the Sharon Horne-Ellstrom page. We switched to Sharon Horne-Ellstrom page from the Pajama Grandma page on Facebook is where I originally record this. And we did that for a couple of reasons. In 2020, and I'd been thinking about it in 2019, I wanted to stop being pajama grandma. I came online, and of course, like everybody, not everybody else, but like most people, we're a little bit nervous about how do we come online? How do we present ourselves? How do we be memorable? How do we get people's attention? And I decided, since I was a new grandma, actually I wasn't that new a grandma, but I was a grandma, I thought, well, I absolutely love being a grandma. It's a persona that I've taken on, and once I became a grandma, I absolutely reveled in and loved being a grandma. So I thought, well, I hang out in my pajamas a lot because I was having vision challenges, so it meant I wasn't driving, I wasn't getting out of the house, I wasn't doing a lot of the things that I used to do. And so I, as part of the online world, realized, oh my gosh, it's easy to stay in your pajamas, it's easy to stay in your robes. And I'm looking at a rack. I have an entire rack. Most people have hanging racks of other things. I have an entire hanging rack of bathrobes that I used to every day. I would pick a different robe and I would do my videos in a bathrobe. Now, I would get dressed and cleaned up, but then I would put on a new bathrobe every day. It was interesting. I mean, I try to think back to my thought process during that, and I'm like, I guess it was a little bit like my friend Jim Edwards and his Hawaiian shirts. He came online, he started out, and his thing was whenever he spoke, whenever he went anywhere, he always had on a Hawaiian shirt. So he was always recognizable, right? Because we want people to recognize us when they see us. So I was just always the lady in the bathrobe. And it worked for me. And then it worked for me in 2018. But in 2019, I was starting to it didn't feel, I mean, it was still me, right? It's a part of me, but it's only a part of me. And so I started to want to come out of that. Well, then in 2020, I had decided I was going to kill off the pajama grandma persona and just be myself. Well, then the pandemic hit. Actually, I went on a cruise in the end of 2019 and got really, really sick. I 100% guarantee I had COVID-19 in December of 2019, even though it hadn't hit the mainstream yet, and the media hadn't gone crazy with it, and we didn't know what it was, and the doctors certainly didn't know what it was, because after 2 weeks of being super duper sick, I finally went to the doctor, and they're like, well, we can't really do anything for you. It's too late to know if you had the flu or not, so go home and just keep coughing. Well, my sister told me that she went to the doctor and they gave her these cough pearl things. I can't remember what they're called, but I called back the clinic and I said, can I at least get some of these cough pearly things? And I got those, and they actually helped to reduce my coughing so that I could like actually function and you know, I'm not even going to talk about all the details of it, but I could start to feel better and human again. And then in 2020, like I said, I wanted to let go of that persona. I wanted to kill her off, but I'm like, can't really do it because of the whole pandemic thing. So in 2020, we recorded on the Pajama Grandma page as well, and then switched to, in 2021, I consciously said and announced and switched to my Sharon Horne-Ellstrom page, and just kind of in 2020, I stopped showing up as Pajama Grandma probably in April, right after the pandemic, and I started the Get Up and Go challenge because I wanted to help myself keep moving through the pandemic, and I wanted to help other people come along with me so that we didn't get stuck and frozen. Millions and millions of people got stuck and frozen during the pandemic, and literally, you know, aimlessly roamed through their lives for a year, maybe more. Some people more. Some people are still in that mode of aimlessly rolling, and there's a lot of reasons for that, but I wanted to make sure I wasn't one of those people. So we began the Get Up and Go challenge. And then in 2021, the world still felt pretty topsy-turvy, so in 2021 we've continued to do the Get Up and Go challenge every other month, about I think February, April, June. Did we do it in June? August, October. I don't think we did it in June. I think we took June off. October, and then in December we will actually be doing the 10th free 30+ day Get Up and Go challenge. It's where we install a framework called the SOAP framework, which is kind of perfect for COVID-19 with all the hand washing and sanitization and things. We apply that framework, we learn it, we install it in our subconscious, we practice it for each of the different areas and aspects of our life. So we've got an example of how would you apply this to your relationships? How would you apply this to your emotional well-being? How would you apply this to your mental, your thinking, your thoughts, your beliefs? How would you apply it to your spiritual health? How would you apply it to your physical health? And we go through examples of that so that everybody can understand different ways of possibly using this and making it their own. And once you install it in your subconscious, you've got it forever. You've got a tool forever that will make changes and challenges automatically better than they were before you had a framework, before you had a conscious process of dealing with them. So I don't know why I'm digressing on that, but for the month of November, we're doing No Nonsense November, was getting out of our comfort zone. And then we're also doing money-related idioms for the month of November for Supersize Your Business. And today's was to have money burning a hole in your pocket. And I put this in my pocket and showed my pocket because I couldn't think of another way to represent money burning a hole in my pocket. This is my backpack money. When I go for walks, I like to have a little bit of money with me so that if I want a water or something, I usually take one, but in case there's something I gotta have when I'm out walking about, I like to have a little bit of money with me. So it's not burning a hole in my pocket. It's there for if there's something I want. If I decide that I need an ice cream cone, because sometimes when you're on a walk, you need an ice cream cone, right? To give you the energy to walk all the way home. So, all right. Not sure what next year's going to bring exactly for me. I've got plans, I've got objectives, but I also am reevaluating and deciding what is really in alignment, since I'm doing a whole year of centering myself and figuring out what makes me tick. What is really in alignment with what I want to do and how I want to show up in the world going forward in 2022 and beyond. Like I joke, I was old enough to retire in 2018 and 2017 when I got divorced and decided to come online. But I didn't want to. I wasn't done yet. I didn't want to just go sit somewhere in the sunshine and read books. I do that anyway. So, love the excitement and the adventure of not deciding 100% what the future is going to hold and what direction we'll be going, but working on projects with a bunch of different entities, so we'll see what comes from that. Any questions about the offline or online business world? Been there, done that with respect to a lot of things, both offline and online. And so if you are feeling like you're stuck and you don't have somebody to ask, know that I will be that resource for you as long as I possibly can. It doesn't mean I don't expect you to have thought things through a little bit, and we do that. We think things through, we test, we explore, we experiment, we ask questions, and we get stuck. And sometimes we just need one person or somebody to bounce an idea off or to say it out loud to in order to know what the next right step is for us. We're always reaching for the next right step, right? And so it's not about knowing everything we need to do, everything we're going to do. It's what am I going to do next? What is my next right step? So if you need help identifying your next right step, hit me up in the comments below. Otherwise, I will be with you tomorrow with a lot less babbling. Obviously, I'm feeling better and not coughing my head off today, so I can talk. I definitely made longer videos today. All right. Any questions, ask. Otherwise, I will be with you tomorrow. Have an amazing day. Bye.